To hello, welcome back to Canary Cast. It has been a fair while. Last time you saw us, we were interviewing Chris Gorham and Rob Butler. Jacob, how are you? Did you manage to get through that international break without just hating watching England?
I didn't watch yesterday because the game before I was
You
so
lucky
bored.
bastard.
I just thought, you know what, I can't be arsed. I saw Maguire got sent off, and I was like, you know what, I've saved 90 minutes of my life.
It was what I found most compelling was the tweets that prelude unfortunate events. It was like, Reece James is going to start his first game, sent off immediately. It's like, well, that's the end of his England career.
Yeah.
Let's go to Norwich. Let's have a think about what we're doing here, because Norwich play Rotherham this Saturday. Rotherham have struggled, it's fair to say, in recent times, but they do remain in the league. They have got the solitary win at Wycombe. What have you made of Rotherham so far this season?
Well, a couple of years ago, obviously they're up, and I think they won one game away all season, away from home. Their home form really did almost keep them up, and they were just a little bit short. But this year, obviously, they went up again, automatic promotion. I think they came up as they came up as second place behind Coventry, and that's controversial, the points per game too. But they were solidly around the top six, and their away form improved drastically. And again, they've got good League One players there. Can they go up to reach to the Championship levels consistently? 46 games. We'll wait and see. I really like
so.
Paul Warren. Obviously, yeah. No, I really like Rotherham. I went there. I went to the game 2 years ago at the New York Stadium, and yeah, it was a really nice place to go to. Nice little stadium. And whilst they play effective football. They scored a great goal, Semi Ajayi, who's moved on. But I like Paul Warren, Norwich fan from North Walsham, not too far away from us. And yeah, it would be a shame that he's not able to be to the game due to the self-isolation, really.
Obviously, we wish them the best, because obviously it's nasty stuff at the moment. That's why we're all filming separately as well. So they have a few people out at the moment. So Ogbene, their winger, has been ruled out. Who is, well, they play a very classic type of football, don't they? They like balls in the area, and they like them to be headed in. They're a big set piece team. Are players like that going to be missed for them?
Well, it's going to be they're going to expose all of Norwich's flaws, really, aren't they? I really worry, because they score a high percentage of their goals from corners. Like the win at Wycombe, like you said, I think the ball was actually in play for about 25% of the game, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Like how often it's in the air or out for throw-ins. They have long throw specialists. They've got and to be fair, they're just going to give Norwich all of the ball. So dropping deep, Norwich struggled against that this year. I worry about Freddie Ladapo, who is, I don't know if he's Championship level, but up front he will cause issues. He's big, he's strong, he's tall, and gangly. Just going to be one of those awkward players to play against. Ben Wiles played really well, scored a lovely goal against Huddersfield in the 1-1 draw the last time. And they've got good, decent players in there. Angus MacDonald, is a solid player. He's came back from numerous kind of hardships in cancer and stuff and really good to see him at Championship level. A Hickway, I really rate it at centre-back as well. They're going to be a threat, and they're going to know how to defend. They will be more than happy to only have 20% of the ball and still draw 0-0, 1-1.
It's the Steve Bruce tactic. I feel like these are like the reincarnate Rory Delap era Stoke, aren't they? The just throw it as far as we can, then wait for an opportunity to throw it as far as we can. So it'll be interesting to see with some of the defensive fragilities in Norwich's game at the moment. Obviously losing Ben Godfrey, and then sort of now being forced to play with Zimmerman at centre back. I don't know why I laughed there, but it'll be interesting to see if Rotherham sort of have the counter to a lot more technical Norwich side.
Well, Carl Vassell, who they normally bring on, he scores in kind of peaks and troughs. He's very hit and miss. I'd describe him as a Premier League Dwight Gale. When he's on it, he'll score, but when he's not, he looks dreadful.
Yeah.
But he can cause Zimmerman problems in behind and stuff like that. They're a very solid team. Like I say, they'll expose Norwich's flaws, but this game's all about Norwich. This is a must-win game. Rotherham will be 100% up for it. Newly relegated side. They're obviously newly promoted. They'll want to win at home. I struggle to see after the last two games against Derby and Bournemouth how we score too many goals. They will just drop back and block everything. I'm hoping we can keep them out enough and kind of be ready enough for the avalanche of balls up to the big man Ladapo and Matt Smith, who can come on as well, and deal with that enough. I feel more confident in those aerial duels with Ben Gibson back there. I think he knows the Championship. He knows kind of how to lead that line, and he played very, very well against Derby for me after 2 years out of kind of in the wilderness to come in straight away and look comfortable at this level shows his quality really. I don't think he'll have a problem against Rotherham. It just depends, you know, that you could do. I can picture it now. We're going to watch it on iFollow, waste £10 and see us concede a scrappy, horrible goal from a corner.
Just write that down because it is going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to come and say the words we haven't uttered at Norwich for a while. Is Daniel Farke in trouble if this game is not a win?
Yeah. It's 1 win in 16 at the moment. 1 win in 17. You can list off all the numbers. We have 2020 has been a horrible football year for Norwich and obviously for
everyone.
In general.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, it's not as big a deal. I still don't feel this is proper football yet. It's never proper football without the fans. I struggle to really get up for it. I know the passion after the game, after a loss, is the same, but it's just not the same being there and being aggressive there.
Yeah.
So. But no, he is in trouble. If you lose this game, which you really do need to win, then we do have to start looking at things. I know it's then only 5 games in, but Emi Buendia is still not going to look great. He needs time to kind of build up. The international break was probably the worst time for him. You know, another 2 weeks off without an actual proper game. So he'll still not really look like he's going to create as well if he stays. You know, Villa and Leeds are interested in him. Fingers crossed he stays. You know, same with Todd. If he's on it, Todd, you know he's good at this level, but I don't know if his head's still there yet. Marco Stiekemann, again, not match fit. There's no click in there at the moment. For me, I'd like to see, we'll go on to starting 11s in a minute, I'd like to see Teemu Pukki drop back a little bit, like he did for Finland in the international break, and bring Jordan Hugill in.
And got a good assist as well.
Yeah, and he's just got that intelligence, hasn't he? He's just got that intelligence of a striker that can drop deep. He's not always an in behind and can only score goals. He has got that kind of football intelligence where he can set up as well as score.
Obviously, on the international break, a lot of Norwich players actually performed really well. McLean springs to mind, and obviously Pukki got his assist. But there was another player, your man, who did very well.
Danelle! Bring him back! Bring Danelle back, man! Oh my goodness, it's so frustrating because he looks like a player.
He does look quite good. But that's the next thing is if there is this crisis that's starting to emerge, the defence is leaky, the attack isn't firing. Could we see a return?
No, not until January. I still don't understand. Like, I think I was talking to a few mates the other day and saying, why I like Josh Martin as a player, but why don't you let him go out on loan? Because he's young, he needs game time. And then you played 23-year-old Danelle Sinani, who, if he's not good enough, then you ship him out in January to a club and you know what his level is. For me, a year in Belgian football is not going to improve him drastically because it's not that great a league quality. I'm just baffled by it. I know the homegrown quota and all that maybe comes into play with Josh Martin, but you cannot tell me that he's more ready than Danelle Sinani, who's played in the Europa League. I'm just going to keep banging that drum. He scored twice against Sevilla, for God's sake.
Look, Jacob, he's not going to shag you, mate.
I don't want him to. I just want him to score goals for Norwich City. I still think he'd do a job at this level. But at the end of the day, he's not here. It's just annoying when you see a class goal. I know it's against poor quality and Luxembourg aren't great. But he looks like a player who's got that little something. I know Michael Bailey kind of came on our podcast and said he looks a little bit rough and not ready. But,
nice,
you know, you can... thank you. You can do something with those rough edges, you know? Not every player has to be perfect and ready now. Plaheta isn't, and he still offers a threat. I just don't really understand it, but it is what it is, and we'll see where we are in January regarding Josh Martin and Danelle Sinani.
Let's move on to the 11 that you expect to appear, not the one you want, because we never get the one we want. The one that we expect to see.
Okay.
Let's start in goal. Who do you reckon?
Well, Michael McGovern did play for Northern Ireland. No, obviously Tim Krul. He did well in the international break. Great to see him back for Holland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like after the kind of the issues he's had with his knee when he got injured there, and it's been a long kind of road back for him. That must be a brilliant moment. So yeah, obviously Tim Krul in goal, and then Aaron's right back. I'm so happy with him. He has been. I've always kind of thought, he's interesting. He seems like such a chilled character. You never know how much he cares about the club. But the way he's kind of brought himself out this summer with Barcelona, he's the only one who's actually had proper interest in him who hasn't left yet. And he's not thrown his toys out the pram. He's played well. He's not
a good
played like a player. And he's only 20 years old.
Yeah,
like the other players we talk about, Buendia and Cantwell, who Farke has both questioned, are 22 and 23.
And we
know the difference.
It's not about ability. I think a lot of people understand that it's an attitude thing, and that's something that will really either help or hinder a lot of these players. If Aarons can knuckle down after being linked with Barcelona and not getting his move and still play at consistent rate, then next year he might get his move, or he might get a move to a club that is of bigger size. Where Cantwell and Buendia, it's very much a dual-edged sword. Where if you have this attitude where it's like, well, I'm going to throw my arms about, I'm not having what I want, that can either work really well or it can be a disaster. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they'll sort of mend their attitudes a tad bit. Not to say that these two aren't fantastic players, but if that attitude problem does persist, it could be a real stumbling block in their entire careers.
The real top pros are 100% professionals, aren't they? You look at Ronaldo. I know Max Aaron doesn't get to that level, but that's a player who dedicates himself to the game, doesn't worry about transfers and all of that sort of thing. He never did when he was younger. And Max Aaron is exactly the same. Like you say, he's not going to move to a bigger club than Barca, but he can move bigger than Norwich, of course. And I think he has got that ability. And I just have been impressed by the way he's just knuckled down and got on with it, really. Defence will be Zinman and Gibson. Left back Quintier, because there's no one else. Midfield, the two in midfield's an interesting one. Lucas Rupp's obviously had a bit of a talking point recently. He's played well.
Trendy.
For me, Lucas Rupp and Ollie Skip are the same player. I don't think that there's much difference there. I think Ollie Skip's slightly better on the ball, but I don't think you need both of them against Rotherham. I think you need someone to dictate the play. I don't think Mario Vrancic will play. I believe it'll be Kenny McLean instead of Lucas Rupp, simply for a little added height, like we were saying about the bombardment. So I think it will be Skip and McLean in there. And then your front three, crikey, Plaheta might be back, but I'd say that's a bit of a risk to play him. Hernandez, I don't think has been fully on it yet, but again, I expect him to play because there's no one else. There's going to be
this is terrible. Is terrible.
Exactly. There's probably Hernandez, Buendia, and Stiepermann, I would say, and then Pukki up front. I don't believe in that. Don't fully agree with that way. And I was so angry to see that we played Teemu Pukki with injection the other day against Derby. Because why would you have Jordan Hugill and Adam Eder available 100% ready? But as we've seen Teemu Pukki with an injury all of last season or half of last season with that injured toe, and he didn't look like the same player. Just play someone who's fully fit and ready. And Jordan Hugill makes an impact. I'd be fuming if I was those two and read that news.
I'd be more angry if I was Hugill after being signed to be this striker to sort of eventually replace Pukki, and he's out there pretty much on a cocktail of drugs. I'm like, well, I'm fine. Just send me out there. It's very odd.
No, it is very, very strange. I don't get it at all. But there's Daniel Farke for you.
Daniel Farke, who is unable to imagine a second lineup. Like, well, if Pukki does play instead of Hugill on this, again, a cocktail of drugs, and he doesn't perform, people are going to start to go, that's not right. That's not. We have this depth. We have a very good young striker who is now hitting in the goals. It's not like he's, Solankeing out. It's and you have Hugill, who is also, not prolific, but he's effective at this level. And you're playing a out of form striker. People are going to start to wonder, what are you doing?
Well, the thing is, if I want to see more of a game plan this week. I don't want to see Xavi Quintier whipping it into Teemu Pukki against big Angus McDonald and Michael Ahikwe, because he will not win those crosses. I can tell you right now, guaranteed, will never happen, because he's not grown in stature, he's not grown in physicality. He will not win any aerial balls against them. If he does, bloody great. You know what?
Wow.
Put it down below. Tag me in on Twitter and everything and say I'm wrong, because I'd love to be wrong. But it's not going to happen. It will not happen. So you bring Jordan Hugill in, give him a bit of physical threat, maybe drop Teemu to number 10, because I don't think Marco Stiepermann is fully match fit yet. And then you have the chance to bring him on if possible. But you cannot have more. I can't see more crosses. If I see more crosses, I might just switch off and just bugger off the reaction, mate, because it'll be too painful.
It'll
I just
just
want to
be
see
me
a
on
little
my
bit.
own at this rate.
Yeah, and well, yeah. Look at where is Joe again? You know, he was criticising me about the Todd Cantwell thing the other day. I was just saying if Todd's ready, then in it, then he will be a key player this year. But nice of you to turn up again, Joe. We've left it a little bit of time. Hopefully, he's still watching with the old criticism.
We were talking about attitude problems. You want to learn how to get Aaron's attitudes rather than Buendia's. This is a call out. This is a call out to Joe.
Joe Buendia, I was about to call him. Joe is our Emmy Buendia, you know. He kind of flirts with other things and doesn't actually turn up.
Terrible. I'm going to tell him this. Watch at this minute.
So it's a difficult one. But for me, you've got to have Timu Pukki dropping slightly, Jordan Hugo up there, kind of being that battering ram, almost a decoy, really, to be able to then break those lines and be able to just make it a little bit more difficult for Rotherham, who will just drop deep exactly like Derby and Rotherham did. Derby and Bournemouth did even.
And that's the thing, is this is now a complete must-win, because another loss or another draw is really going to start to see Norwich drop down that pack even further and start to lose pace with the teams that, you know, are expected to do really well. And the teams who have been expected to do well have performed, bar one. So it'd be interesting to see. But let's go through our predictions now. Now, I'll go first, mainly just because my opinions on it aren't incredibly formed at the moment, and I'll probably change my mind in about 10 minutes. But I can't see a Norwich win. There is no way I can see a Norwich win. So I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw, and it's going to be the most drab affair possibly ever seen. Now, the only thing that is making me doubt that prediction as I say it is Norwich always concede. And they were playing a very physical side, a side that it likes to get the ball in and around those centre-backs. So can I see Rotherham scoring? Yes, I've already changed my mind. Rotherham to win 1-0. Jacob, what do you think?
Well, they've had a lot of 1-0s and 1-1s, Rotherham. So I'm going to say 1-1. I'm very hopeful that we can click a little bit better now we've had an international break. Players got more used to each other, the new lads and obviously the existing lads. We have to win. We have to win, but I'm going to say 1-1. And I want to see a performance. You know, like you said, it does matter about points, but also there is still a lot of 42 games after this one. So it's a tricky one, but I want to see a performance, definitely. We should win, but if I see a good performance and we're unlucky, we're hammering down the door and that we just can't score, then I could be a lot more happy. I just want to see a game plan there that isn't bloody Quintia crossing early and the defence of Rotherham just heading it away.
Well, one can dream, but I don't think so.
I think it's going to be a waste of a tenner.
Yeah. I don't think if I could give advice to the Norwich fans watching this, just do something else. Do something else for your Saturday, because there'll be better games. There'll be better games. At least you're not in the Premier League and paying $14.99 to watch it. So.
Oh, ridiculous!
God,
that could be another video for another day, because that is ludicrous.
Well, there's so much ludicrous. I feel like we need to have like this almost like talk show where we just update stuff, because it's so much bollocks happens. That Project Big Picture, I think, is genuinely worth a video for how utterly criminal it is. But we'll see. Anyway, that's been I think enough for this week. Rotherham's on Saturday. Do give it a watch. Give us a like and a subscribe, because it does really help, and we've been overwhelmed by the support recently because we've had such fantastic new viewers. We've had such fantastic comments saying how much they've enjoyed the videos, and we do really appreciate it, and it does really help. So again, thank you to everyone who's been watching, and we're going to make that push to 1,000 subscribers. If you want to help, join us, subscribe, give us a little ding on the bell as well to get updated as and when we upload those videos. And Jacob, thanks for joining me to talk about Rotherham. And
thank you, mate.
That's all right.
We're trying to be as positive as possible.
We're trying. I'm really trying. I would say thank you to Joe, but not here. And until next time, we'll see you next time.
Laters.
Hi guys, hope you enjoyed this video.
Stop! I don't care anymore. I've listened to you for the last 15 minutes. It's boring, right? Right, we have got a fantastic offer for you from FansBet. They will give you up to 50% of your deposit, up to the value of £100. utilise this offer below in the description and right here in Joe's face.
Now.